Hello YouTube friends, welcome to the Red Parrot channel. I'm your host Mary Ellen. This episode is a slow stitch Sunday where we just get together and maybe have a cup of tea, a couple of cookies, maybe a muffin, a piece of cake, and then we do some slow stitching. And we just have a natter or we just have each other's company. So, that's what my plan is for Slow Stitch Sunday. Kind of a chill out hour or so where we can just be together and do some stitching. I am going to put this out next, just so that you know, get some orientation of what I am doing at the moment. So on Instagram, there is someone called @theteacherstable_crafts, pardon me, who is doing a 2023 hashtag 3 to 5 scrap challenge. And 3 to 5 is 3 inches by 5 inches, sort of as a size. And then using 3 to 5 scraps, trims, threads, stitches, ephemera, whatever. And it is really, really loose. It is do 3 things in February that are slow stitched. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, or at least doable. Let's call it that. It is doable. I'm also going to put down at the bottom here, this is a YouTube channel, Ariane. So this is @Ariane Zurcher Art. She is one of my needlework inspirations. She does something called improvisational stitching that is just get some fabric and embroider. And I love that approach because it's very creative. There's not a lot of structure to it. And in some ways that is actually what the 3 to 5 scrap challenge is all about. So I'm going to leave that there. Hopefully that's still in view. I'm just going to take a poke up. Yes, it is. Okay, good. And then I have my little tray of stuff. And I'll show you what I'm working on, and you can go get the stuff that you're working on. So this is one of my needle books. It's the one that I'm currently using with this kind of a project, and it is 2 felt circles and some quilt backing that are in concentric circles, and that I've just put a little tab over it. It could flap out, but I have the pins probably pinned through 3. I have a nice chunky chenille needle, maybe? I always get chenille and the other one mixed up. I have very small, I think this is a quilting sharp. This is another needle, and these are bits and pieces that are just there. Have my usual scissors. You will, if you've seen me doing crafting, you will recognize these. You might not know that one of the things that I do on these scissors, and I think my embroidery scissors, I put a little tiny magnet so this can happen. When I am, you just leave a needle off like that and you're like, okay, where did my needle go? You can find it easily, or you can just plop your needle down there so that when you're threading it, when it's got no thread in it, you can find it easily and not accidentally jab yourself. So that's my hint for the day. So what do I got going on here? So this, I'm gonna lose that bead, is a piece of all kinds of thread. This piece of this, it's just the back. I've used that as the place to do the stitching on, and these are just scrap pieces of fabric that I just sort of saw and slapped down. Zero art involved, zero thinking involved, just pitter patter, let's get at her and let's do some sewing. What am I doing? I want to sew down this yo-yo, and I went down a rabbit hole. Of course I did. What's me talking about anything without a rabbit hole involved? Let me get some green thread threaded up here. I'm using sort of DMC thread, or either that or a very close facsimile. And these are, I take it and then I split it into two. So there's 6 threads in all, and I just split it into 3. So these are 3 threads. Pardon me while I thready thread. Here we are. And what I want to do is baste down this yo-yo. So this yo-yo has followed me around for years. I made one and then stopped. And I am finally able to use it. So I'm just doing some really unsophisticated basting stitches where I'm jabbing down, coming somewhere up, out at the edge, and then back down. Nothing complicated. So my first problem is I don't know where the rest of this fabric is now that I've used it, and it's like, oh, I should find out how to actually do a yo-yo properly. So I found out how to do a yo-yo properly. Of course, you put it into the search engine on YouTube, and so many lovely people record their work. They record them doing it. They record what they've learned. It's phenomenal. It's like going to like a whole different school. It's fabulous. So anyways, this one lady that, where are we at here? I saw on YouTube said, oh, I can show you the easiest ones possible. Now I have to backtrack for a minute and say that this is made from a little kit that you can get, I guess, at the end of the year at the dollar store or Dollarama, of course you can. And they are jar tops, so fabric jar tops. They are circles that are pinked. Pardon me. And I bought a bunch, and I only ever made one. And I bought them because the circle was already cut. Because in my mind, the way you did yo-yos, or the way I had always been taught, is that you need a circle. And it's so much easier to just sew in a straight line than it is in a circle, and certainly when you're doing this kind of stuff. So there's 2 things that I learned from this lady, this woman. This fabulous YouTuber decided that I'm going to put this out there for anybody who cares. And I care. So the first thing that she said, which blew my tiny cricket mind, was the easiest way to do this is to use a square. What? A square? And she proceeded to demonstrate how much easier it was to use a square. And I'm going to say that I am going to try that after we get this sewn down, just to see if that works. And this might not have been her. This might have been somebody else. Yes, this is somebody else who had this gizmo that you could buy that made making yo-yos very easy. Now she used a circle, and her whole gizmo was based on using a circle as part of the yo-yo process. But she showed me what I was doing wrong inadvertently. So the thing that I was doing wrong, and again I had been taught, is that you do a lot of stitches, and when you pull it tight, guess what happens? You can't, because there's too much bulk here. So she showed her method, and of course, because she has this gizmo, it regulates the number of stitches that you can do, and they are lovely, evenly spaced. Heavy emphasis on the word space. And another light bulb went off, and it's like, oh, I bet you I can do yo-yos much better than previously with these 2 pieces of information. So once we get this done, let us go down a yo-yo rabbit hole. Because why not? There we are. Pin over here. How much more do we have? Yeah, I got a little bit. A couple more. There we are. We're done. There we are. You can see the back is not, we're not getting prizes for neatness. We're not even worried about, you know, what that might look like. And like I say, I totally encourage you, if you think you can't sew or you don't know what slow stitching is all about, strongly encourage you to get a scrap of fabric, and if you're gonna go and buy floss, you know, they cost, I think, like 39 cents retail. Get a good needle that's nice and sharp, possibly a thimble. I learned long ago that I need a thimble, but you might not. That's okay. And have a go. Okay, that was me just testing to make sure that my needle would go through it, and it does. It's very satisfying, and it's much less requiring of precision than you might think. I think we have a in our heads this idea that needlework is going to always be this very precise thing that's, you know, we see in museums and so on and so forth. And it can be that, it certainly can be. And those people that are making that stuff, they are highly skilled at what they are doing. Come on, here we are. But we don't necessarily need to be that skilled. Ow! We can just do our thing, and it will look just fine. My stitches aren't entirely even. That's okay. All I want to do is affix this piece, this circle. And this came from a thrifted necklace, and this came from a thrifted bracelet. And I took them apart last night, specifically to use them on some of my slow stitch stuff. There we are. So there we are. So this can be a nice fabric flip. And didn't take me all that long to do. I think I'd like to do maybe a little bit more here, but I want to get at this this square and see how that works. So we need a square. Put this aside, okay. So I have 2 pieces of fabric. Do I have 1? Please make this be 1. Okay, this is 1. This is a lot of fabric, not gonna lie. But I'm getting up. Coming all the way over here. And I'm gonna be right back. I needed my roller cutter. And now that I have my roller cutter, this is the other thing I need. So let's clear a little bit of this stuff out of the way. And this is a piece of thrifted fabric. It is just got some color in it. Okay, how big is this? So what do I want to do? I want to do like a 5 by 5. So this is where the edge is, and I'm not gonna bother picking it out. I'm just gonna take that off. There, and I've got some spare fabric that I can use as a tie for things. You know, part of top of a journal card, use it to tie a journal. Scrap won't go to waste. Now then, back where we are here, what did I want? I wanted something that I said was 5 by 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get it right into the center here so we can. So part of her speed of how to do these quickly was based on the idea that you can use this method of not having to cut out circles, but you can use your rotary cutter to create the say the box, the bases quickly. And this should be 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I know it might look kind of weird that I actually count. You'd be shocked at the number of times where I don't do it right. It's like, oh yeah, that's fine. It's like, no, it's not. You didn't cut it right. There we are. Somebody needs a new rotary blade. Not saying who. Okay, there we are. Hang that neatly on the floor. Okay, we're good. Okay, so step 1. So I have 5 by 5. And what did she do? Is this going to be long enough? Probably not. Both not long enough. Okay, we need some more thread. Luckily, I have a lot of thread. This is brown. That'll be good enough. How many threads are in here? Is there 4? Yep. So one of the things that you can do with embroidery thread is, if you want to separate this as opposed to peeling it off this way, and you can quickly see that it gets a knot in it, is to open it up a bit and then pinch lightly where the two sort of veer off. And then you pull this thread and you can see the bottom is all bunching up, but you have this then separated, and you have this fine, and there's no knots to be seen. There we are. Oh, I'm so excited to be able to try this. I hope it works. It will be a game changer for me if it does, because I don't do yo-yos because of the what I perceive is the amount of work. Now I know this is a ridiculous thing to say, because really, like, that's work. Yeah, it is. There are other things in my stitching world that aren't work. This is one of them. So what she does, what does she do? So she is going to fold over a little bit, and she just does like a hand. You can actually buy things to do this, but you don't have to buy it. So this is just like a hand press. So you've got this sort of pressed as a line, and do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to sort of fold over all four. Sort of a 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 a centimeter. You can eyeball it. There is no one is going to check your work. And if they do, feel free to say, well, can I check yours? Because I'm going to guess that they're just there to chirp on you. Okay, so step 1. Okay, fold over. Front side away, back side in. And you're going to just do a running stitch, she says. I'm going to start a little ways away from where this is going to fold over again. And then I'm going to use stitches that are, I don't know, about that big, I guess. Oh yes, and there was a third hint that somebody had. There we are. I'll fold that over. So at the end here, I am folding this over so that when I go down here, I can come up and then catch all 4 pieces. Okay, there we are. Another side. While I saw her do this and come up with something successful, I still not entirely sure that this is going to work. But we'll do it together and we'll find out together. Okay, and that's another down. And it's going to come up between corner bits. There we are. If this is the first one, then we'll learn something too. When I did the green one, I was doing stitches like that tiny. It was just crazy. It's like, oh, right, you do them large. Or at least to scale of the fabric that you have. I don't know why I'm undoing that. Okay, oh, on the last side. It's getting exciting. Okay, pinch that corner. We go down, and then we come up. There we are, good job. Last side. There we are. Okay, so what's happening now? So I'm just doing a little bit of fiddling so that these corners fold. That's what that end is. Down, and then up. And then we're going to go down and up. Okay, so that was way faster than when I do it with a circle. Now, next step is to gather this all up. Now the trick that she had with the folding is to pull this thread, the direction of this thread is going which way? It's going this way. We want to do it perpendicular, so we are going to pull it that way. See if that works. To pull it tight. Oh, okay. Not awful. Okay. Have we got this as tight as it can be? Pretty much, okay. There's one. The exciting part will be in about a minute and a half when we do the unpacking. And I am just going to sort of a seamstress thing, and that is just do some stitches one on top of each other. And then I'm going to feed this in and then through the outside to hide the tail. Pull it in. Cutty cut. There we are. Come on. Okay. Now what? Oh, no. No way. Would you look at that? So what's the difference between a square and a circle? Almost nothing. And the large stitches, or the larger stitches, allow sort of a certain flattening to happen. Oh, I'm going to stop and admire my work. And you are absolutely allowed to do the same. I mean, admire your work. You don't have to admire mine. So one of the things that this lady said about the square, which you can kind of see, so you can see that it's ish a circle, but you can also see that it is ish a square. So when she was talking about yo-yo quilts, where you were joining these together, this becomes a much more stable quilt because you have kind of a side to use as the bind. Oh, this is marvelous. Okay, we have to do another one. Where's my fabric? Hang on. Oh, I highly recommend trying this. Okay, let's do something that's not yellow, it's blue. Let's try the blue. Okay, wait. Okay, we're very excited. Very excited. Oh my goodness. I should totally do more prep before I turn on a camera. Oh my goodness sakes. Hoy. Don't try this at home, folks. So, square this kind of up-ish. Square it. Square. There we are. And I know that I have 2 cutting mats. And we're going to jump down to the second one. Okay, I'm going to move this over. Do some more 5s. we are. Are we going all the way across? I think we're going all the way across. I suppose I could have ripped, but now I'm getting precious. There we are. I might have to tea dye some of this fabric. I have 2 pieces of it. I don't know what it was. It might have been outdoor summer cushion covers. The reason why I want to oh dear, I've lost my thread. The reason why I want to tea dye it is because of this center here and this. I'm not so sure that I want white. I might prefer to have something that's a little warmer, and it'll change the pink, it'll change the yellow, but it should be all right. Okay, new fabric, new square. Let's do this end. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And all this gets lost in the sewing up. Oh, just like one thread. Here we are. Okay. Okay, nice piece of fabric. So at some point I'm going to stop making yo-yos, and this will be a perfect scrap to be able to use for maybe one of the next ones of these. Oh, it's so good. Okay, front and back. Got that done. I probably have a bow folder here somewhere. It's easy to find. Not easy to find. Oh, there it is. See it over there. That seems dangerous. Let's not do that. I'm just using whatever's available to me to do a sort of a hard press. I think there's really nothing better than mashing down on your fingers. There's a thing. There's a hand roller thing that you can get. I have seen it somewhere in my family. I have a family of people who are sewers and seamstresses and so forth. So I come by this interest honestly, I think. Okay, good enough. So we got our edges folded. This is a 5x5 square, if I didn't already make that clear. Okay, thimble on, thread ready. And this knot that I am doing is called a quilter's knot. And essentially what I'm doing is placing the thread across my finger and then placing the needle to trap that thread, pushing the needle out a bit, and then doing 1, 2, 3, you can do 4, and then pinching it lightly so that this doesn't unravel, and then pulling it through, and you get a nice, good knot. Okay, we are off to the races. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. There's nothing like having company for witnessing those great moments in life. Oh dear, did I not do that right? Well, horseshoes and hand grenades. Yeah, good enough. We'll fix it in post. Here. We have the back. Here on the back. Here we are. Just folding my little corner down so that I don't miss it like I did the last time. There, and then just trapping it. Here we are. And off we go. So this fabric is cotton. This pleating works very well with cotton, and I am not at all sure how it works with other kinds of fabric. I'm going to think that it works all right with silk. Linen creases when you look at it. So if you have linen, that'd work. But if you're looking for fabric and you have some old clothes or you have some bedding, those are absolutely great ideas to use as sources of material. And if you have the tags on them, you can tell what kind of fabric they are. And if you're off to the thrift store looking for fabric, I highly recommend the purchasing of fabric that has a fabric tag on it, because then you will know for sure. Okay, wow, that's bananas. Like, look, I have 2 yo-yos. Okay, this perpendicular thing, I don't know that is all that great of an idea. Okay, here we are. You don't have to use embroidery thread. You can use thread. If you use thread, I would do double ply. Why would I do double ply? Because if you don't know your own strength, a single ply and a weak thread could pop. I'm just doing my seamstress thing here. And it's just 3 stitches that are one on top of each other to trap thread. And it's at the bottom of this fold here, so it goes out of sight. And I'm just going to push the needle into the space that's in the center. Now when I find some space, and then push the needle out towards the edge so that the tail is buried inside. Boy, howdy! Got another yo-yo. This is more yo-yos than I have made in 15 years, at least 10. Ugh, gotta get a little, there we are. So, look at that. Look at that, would you? So I have, here is the one necklace that has been taken apart. So you could put in a, oh dear, well, we're gonna have this all over everywhere in a minute. It's the pink one that I wanted. Pink, there's blue, there's green. I don't know that that really goes. Drop that on the floor. Yeah. That's all right. Well, look at that. I am super excited about that. So that worked. I don't know what else to tell you. Double thumbs up for me. You can change obviously the size of your square. So I was using 5 by 5 just to give myself a lot of space to maneuver, but you could do 4 by 4. The smaller you get, the finer the stitches are going to be. So if you're a new stitcher, I would keep it sort of large enough to manipulate. If you're a seasoned sewer, have at her. And you know what, if you're a new sewer, have at her too. There is literally no rules. Oh, look at these. These are marvelous. I am so excited. Well, I think I should stop while I'm ahead. Hasn't been an hour, but I think we have been able to accomplish something, and that is we have figured out, we have what do we call it? Proof of concept that yes, a square yo-yo does work. That's exciting. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate having company while we sort of go down the rabbit hole of interesting stitching. I don't know how regular we will be, but I will do my best to be at least periodic, because along with the fabric, stitching is part of the game. Anyways, I will talk to you really soon. Bye now.